Kerry, thank you so much for joining me today. It's so good to be with you.
Oh, I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so happy.
You have got this amazing vision board behind you that if you're just listening to the podcast or reading, you've got to go check out the video. Describe before we get started, what's going on behind you here?
Okay. So one of the things that I do is I teach about vision boards and placement of where you would place certain items or things or vacations, romance, love, health, all of that it gets placed in certain areas, corners, middle. And so, because I do a lot of filming in my studio, I wanted to make sure that I was able to see my vision board on a daily basis. So I decided to decoupage one whole wall. It is my vision board. And even if things that I manifest into my existence come about, I never cover them up because I always give gratitude that I brought that into my space.
I
So
love it.
that is and right now I'm in the health section.
The health section. So this is just one part of your vision board is what you're saying.
Oh yes, it's quite large.
Okay, all right. And you've got some space there in the lower corner to keep adding. I like that.
I am still working on one area of travel because I am a little bit of I put a lot on my plate because I like it like that. And so my travel is with business, which I do go to some very beautiful places. But yes, I need to work on the travel section and I do have more spaces for me to fill up.
Wonderful. Okay, practical question here to help us get started. When you're feeling a bit low, and I assume that there are some points in your life where you might wake up feeling a little bit low or get some tough information, what's the number one thing that helps you raise your vibration in that moment?
That's a great question. I call that a good day because I have good days and I have great days. And on the good days are the days that are the trials, or it might just be that I have got a lot of projects on my plate and I'm in front of the computer, the blue light, and I lose my flow. And so immediately I remove myself from wherever I'm at. So if it's here right now, I'm in front of the computer, I'm working on projects, and I start feeling that low vibration, I immediately get up. You will always find me barefoot on the ground inside my home, and I immediately go outside and I start grounding because I think that is the world's best medicine that you could possibly intake into your body besides the herbs. um, so yes, I go outside and I ground and I listen to the birds because the birds immediately calm your brain down. It's almost like you're taking GABA. That's how I can explain what the birds do for me. So it's listening, and grounding, and that vibration and the energy just goes right through from your root chakra all the way up to your crown chakra. And I feel it immediately and I start to feel good. I'm breathing, I'm working on my breath work. But for somebody out there that does not have that opportunity to get up and go ground. They live in an apartment, they feel, overwhelmed, or they're not having a great day. One thing that I like to teach is the snapping method. For somebody to change their energy immediately, you just start snapping all around you and it immediately changes the vibration because you're not thinking, you're working on the snapping. And I wanted to offer that because what's good for me might not be good for somebody else.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Wow. I love that snapping concept. Boy, talk about this being a bit revealing, but let's see, about a year or so ago, I was participating in a medicine ceremony utilizing bufo. Are you familiar with bufo at all?
I am not, but
So
I'm very aware of medicine ceremonies.
yeah, so bufo comes from I think it's a Sonoran desert toad called Bufo alvarius, and it secretes like a venomous, venom behind its ears or whatever. I think it's venom. And then when you dry it and then inhale it, it provides the fastest psychedelic experience possible. You're immediately transported into another time space dimension, and it lasts about 30 to 45 minutes. And what's interesting is one of the experiences that I had, I've done it a couple times, and I started snapping above my head. You're laying down, and I started snapping very vigorously above my head. You're kind of out of control. You know what I mean? Like the medicine is taking you on this journey. And I started snapping, and I was so transfixed by that when I kind of came out of it. I was like, wow, I was really clearing something above me with this vigorous snapping that was just flowing around and around and around and around. I mean, I felt like Beyonce or something. I mean, I was just going for it. But that's fascinating that you would bring that up. I think that that can be very helpful for any of us. I've got to remember that next time I'm feeling a little down,
For sure.
getting into some
You know,
snapping.
your higher potential was already feeling a shift in a lower vibration, and you knew immediately to start changing that energy by doing the snapping.
Yeah.
And so that's really that's a sign for me to continue to teach the snapping method
Yeah.
and bringing it up more. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah, super powerful. Okay, so you talked about going outside and hearing the birds. You're inside, and I'm hearing roosters in the background. I don't know if people will hear that in the final edit of the audio here, but you live on a farm.
Mhm.
How did you come across this farm? Where, like, how did you get there? What is it like to live on this farm? Like, give us a picture of this.
Okay. So, you can't really take a girl out of the farming. At a very young age, I was plucked from 47 acres. My dad had a sod farm in Long Island, New York, and he would bring me to his farm. And I was introduced to chickens, and all my chickens had names, and I would greet them when I came onto the farm, and I would say, "Good morning, boys and girls." And I just really loved being able to be in nature, speaking to the deer, speaking to the birds. And I was plucked from that at a very young age of 6 years old, and landed in California, Burlingame, California, of all places. Beautiful place to live. But here, you take that girl and you remove her from nature into, suburban. It was just like a shock for me. And so I lived there most of my life in the Bay Area, and I loved it, and I met beautiful people, but I always felt lost. I never felt fully connected. And every time I did get connected to my source energy, I always got bumped. And it was a constant bump throughout most of my life. And so I um, one day looked up number one school district, and Nevada County, California was the number one school district. And I had my children in private school, paying, the cost of private school. I was boarding my horses at the time. And so I found Grass Valley, and I came up here, and I literally put my foot on the soil, and it was like angels singing to me. And I had a complete full connection and felt connected to this community right away without knowing not one person. And so I rented a couple places to figure out where I wanted to end up. And the place I'm at now is a villa, and it's on 3 acres. And I really wanted this house. And my husband said, "Nope, you got to take that out of your inventory." And I rented another house, and this house came on the market for half of the price of what I was looking for. And I thought, "Oh, wow, I manifested that house. I really wanted that home. I really wanted that land." And so I came here, and I've been slowly building. But ever since I arrived in Grass Valley, I've had chickens, I've had goats, I've had sheep, I've had my horses live with me, peacocks, pigs, you name it. I've had it all, emus, and I'm down to chickens, cats, and dogs. And I love my chickens. They all have names. I have a couple turkeys too, as well. And they're a part of me, they're a part of my life. They're a part of the healing process. I don't think people really realize how impactful birds are. And when you listen, it really does heal you from the inside out. But it's something that you have to be really in tune with, but it's something that you can definitely learn and massage and marinate into as well. And I love living on a farm because I'm able to grow herbs and my own food, which is really important to me. We grow over 100 medicinal herbs here.
Wow. What do you do with all of those herbs? Are you, I mean, you're using them, but are you giving them away or what's going
I
on?
do. I do. I am currently filling the apothecary. There was a time, which I'm sure we're going to get into, where 2020 hit and we were just growing everything and putting in more gardens. And I went through a little bit of a transition. So I wasn't able to harvest for a couple years because of what was going on inside of me. So we are rebuilding. I've got incredible land help to help replace the herbs that I lost and plant more herbs that we desire to bring into our existence. So right now we're just rebuilding, cleaning up, preparing for retreats again.
Hmm. So talk to me about your own personal awakening to however you would describe it, consciousness, mindfulness, spirituality. Was faith or spirituality a part of your life growing up, or was it something newer that kind of came into your life later?
I really feel like my awakening started at 6. I feel like I was a student up until I landed in Burlingame when I moved from New York. I felt I was in fairy tale, imaginary world. And then when I got plopped, um, it really shook me up. And yes, my mom was very religious, and I grew up in a religion that did not resonate with me. And so I really felt like my religion was my source energy to God. And I didn't have to put a organized religion label on it. And so I knew at the age of 6 that I had a gift inside of me. And I really felt like the awakening started then. And then 2020 hit. And that's when the real shift for me to really come into my higher potential was through plant medicine. And I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease and menopause, and I really didn't understand what was going on with my body. Here, I was coming from this happy go lucky person that wants to help the world to not being able to help myself. And so that's when there was a couple years there where I was barely, I didn't want to be seen, and I was barely functioning. A lot of people don't realize that when women go through menopause, there's a 6% rate of suicidal thoughts, depression. And when you add Hashimoto's disease onto that, that's another 2.8%. And I fell into that detachment. I don't want to say that I was suicidal. I've never had suicidal thoughts, but I remember one day sitting on my bed and feeling everything would be okay if I wasn't here. It's okay if I left today. Not that I wanted to do harm to myself, but it was still enough of a shake to scare me to get into the doctors. And that's when, these labels were put on upon me, and they wanted to put me on um, medicine that I really did not believe in, that did not resonate with my body. But I was so desperate because I have tried so much. I mean, I was taking all the medicinal herbs that you could possibly take to support me, but nothing quite was um, clicking for me. And so I went on the medicine and I took myself off within 2 weeks because it just made it worse.
Hmm.
And that is when I was introduced to magical mushrooms. And I have a few people that are very close and near to me that are shamans that work in the area. I mean, this is the healing capital. Uh, Nevada County is the magical place. And so there's a lot of people that are doing healing or are being healed or seeking out the healing. And this one friend of mine said, have you ever thought about doing a journey? And I said, yes, I've thought about it. Um, it's I'm not getting a full body yes quite yet. And so when I got that full body yes, I did go on that journey, and it really awakened a lot of stories and patterns that no longer served me, that I didn't even know that I had
Hmm.
deep down inside of my body. And so I allowed it to surface one at a time and really go into each emotion of the story and worked on the patterns to replace them with positiveness, finding always the better feeling thought while I'm working through and maneuvering the energy, and really being able to go into that deep shadow work without staying long enough to start decorating the walls. Um, I say that, and that's one thing that I teach when I life coach, is that it's really important that, yes, you need to honor your feelings. You need to honor whatever stage it is, if it's grief or sadness or shock, whatever it may be. Go into it, stay there, but really don't stay there long enough. Maneuver it, start just making sure that you're constantly maneuvering and pivoting. And during that time, like I said, I didn't want to be seen, so I wasn't filming at that time. I was more concentrating on utilizing what I'm learning, because I'm taking myself to my higher potential to help others, and giving them the proper tools to take them to their higher potential. And so I'm a true believer that everything happens for a reason. And I was meant to go through what I went through in those 2 years. And even up until now, I mean, we're all evolving and growing. Was for me to be here right now on this podcast, talking with you, with the knowledge that I've learned along the way. And so, awakening, to answer your question, I feel like I have been awakening, but the real pivotal time was in 2022, when I introduced the microdose of mushrooms, the magical mushrooms, into my existence.
Gotcha. So, I mean, you can share at whatever level you want to. People sometimes are a little sensitive about this, but other people just share freely. So, you let me know. But is the more the journey experience, which is like a higher dose experience, is that something that you participated in multiple times to help you through this process, or was it more of a microdose? And is that something you're continuing to do?
Was a little bit more. It was a larger amount, and then after that experience, and let me just take this back a little bit. This is known to help people with addiction, depression,
Of course.
and I did watch a couple documentaries on plant medicine and did my research before I just dove in. Also, I trusted the person that was going to really help me through the process, and making me feel comfortable. I was in my home. We set up an altar next to my bed. And, there was more plant medicine offered to me if I wanted it. But I was quick, and I was open, and I was ready. And it was almost like I went into each room and swept up each room. And what I mean by that is each story that no
Mhm.
longer served me, I went in there. I saw people. I saw my family members, and I, forgave some of them. I said, I apologized to some of them. I said, I love you unconditionally. It doesn't matter what the past has transpired.
Mhm.
I'm here now, and I know that I was meant to go through whatever it is. And through that journey, I did go into smaller microdose circles, women's circles, locally, and also in India. I was able to take the flower medicine while I was there. And, that's more of a heart opener. So it's definitely a journey. Some people do one journey and that's it. Some people take in the plant medicine through microdoses, and it's different for each individual. I feel like the microdoses are exfoliating you a little bit more.
Hmm. Exfoliation of the soul. Look at that. I like that. That's good. Talk to me about Corporate Hippie Connection. This is corporatehippiconnection.com is your website. It's a
Yeah.
community. Well, I shouldn't say what it is. You tell me what it is and what's the vision behind it.
Okay. So I was in the superfood industry for many years, and I still damper in it. I still have companies that come after, seek me from concept to total turnkey. And it's a love of mine because I loved importing superfoods. The thing that I didn't like about corporate America is that I was always working somebody else's dream. And I wanted to take my skill set of positive empowerment, because I was life coaching and positive empowerment, and I wanted to take it to the next level. And one day I was sitting by my pool with my husband, and we were, just chit chatting. And he said, "Okay, what's next for Kerry?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to start a podcast, and it's going to be a lifestyle podcast, and it's going to be bigger than Goop." And then I went, "Oh gosh, I can't believe I just said that." And I originally started Corporate Hippie Connection to really just make it aware of what people go through, and asking key people like yourself what their niche is. What do they offer to the audience out there that might be going through, different elements in their lives? And it was right at the pandemic. When the pandemic hit is when we were filming, and then we had to stop. So it was really important for me to really put in the love and the passion into the different categories that we have, and offer people. At that time, I had to pivot and change the direction of Corporate Hippie Connection to help others during this pandemic. And I was going live doing positive empowerment. But Corporate Hippie Connection is a positive empowerment, conscious living community and movement. So we have highly skilled people that are really good at their niche, and they offer their skill sets to people. We're normalizing what people are going through on a daily basis, and meeting them where they're at, giving them the proper tools to take them to their higher potential. That is what Corporate Hippie Connection is all about, is community and giving people the proper tools.
Mhm.
And now we are working on the shows again, and we're very excited about what we're unveiling. And it's just amazing that we're here, right now. There is no woulda, coulda, shoulda. We weren't supposed to start this in 2020. We were supposed to go through everything that we went through to get us to here right now, to be even more powerful than we ever been.
Mhm. You've got a couple of new shows that you're working on right now. One is called Apothecary, Kerry. So good. That is such a great name. And then the second show is KerryTalk. Can you walk us through both of these shows and what we
Sure,
can anticipate?
sure. Okay, so Apothecary is a show all about herbs and the frequencies that are attached to the herbs. It's a way for people to have this conscious living, um, really living the conscious living, learning through the magical frequencies of the herbs. So I'm bringing more of my skill set of explaining what each herb does that we grow here on the farm. And if we don't grow it on the farm, that we're buying it from our local apothecary and keeping the businesses local, keeping our business local, and to really shine the light on medicine is all around us, and getting away from the pharmaceutical industry. A lot of people are suffering from mental health and different emotions, menopause, depression, whatever it may be. They might just be working that, 9 to 5 job and they're on the hamster wheel. This show is really just to draw you in, getting you to lean in and really learning about the medicine that's all around us, grounding in and really experiencing what each herb does for the body. And KerryTalk is a one-on-one where I interview the movers and the shakers and the spiritual entrepreneurs, the actors, the authors, and bringing them on and giving them a platform to really shine on, to be able to give these little nuggets of experiences of what they've gone through, their awakenings, and offering this knowledge out to the world. Because if we could just change just one person a day, that is winning the lotto for me. Really sharing the knowledge, because like I said to you earlier, when you share the knowledge, in return, we all share the wealth. And I know that I'm here to help change people's lives in a positive way, touching them without the physical touch.
What's the timeline on the release of Apothecary and KerryTalk?
Apothecary, we're currently filming on the farm. It's outside. And yes, you are going to hear the chickens. You're going to hear, just the other day I was filming and my cat jumped up on the table and I just kept on rolling with it. So that is going to be complete at the end of October. We'll be editing and it will launch in November, December. We start filming KerryTalk in November, and that most likely is going to launch of Q1 of 2025.
Wonderful. You've talked about mushrooms several times here in our conversation, and I know that you're very passionate about a particular product called Rise through a company called Frequence. Talk to me about how this was introduced to your life, how it's impacted you. Walk us through it.
Oh, thank you for asking that question. Frequence came about in March of this year, and I was introduced to it by a old business partner that I'm very fond of. And she just said, Kerry, because of your superfood background and you work with frequency and vibration, I really think that you need to take a look at this company. It's super special. And I said, okay. And I flew out to Texas and I was able to meet with the owners and the creators of these products. But before I did that, I always do my due diligence, making sure where the products are sourced, looking at their labs. And I had a really important question, because I've taken other mushroom companies from concept to total turnkey. I know the mushrooms that are out there. I know ingredients well. I know where they're sourced from and how ingredients can break down from hand to hand. And so with meeting with them, I asked them about these mushrooms, because when I first sampled the mushrooms for the very first time, I had been in Hawaii at the time, and I had the sample that was sent, and I opened it up and I put it in the palm of my hand. And as I am placing it and pouring it into my palm of my hand, it is going into the air. So I knew right away that this was more of a pharmaceutical grade. The granule sizes were very small, where the other mushrooms I've worked with always left granules at the bottom where you would really need to add more liquid to it to get it all, to intake it all. And so I point blank, I think they felt like they were in a deposition, because I'm really careful about who I work with, making sure that they're a sustainable company, there's a vision, and who's behind these products and where they're sourced from, like I said. And so I asked, what is it about these mushrooms? Because when I put my tongue on these mushrooms, I felt it in a nanosecond. I felt the energy from these mushrooms and the energy from it. And I've never felt anything like this before. And I said to him, it's like I'm doing a microdose. I feel so in tuned. It was like somebody turned on a light switch in my brain. The brain fog went away. My mood just was uplifted. I had energy that was sustained all day. And I knew there was something more to it. And he point blank told me they're grown in the United States. They're grown in a plant in a very clean facility. And they are the closest that you could possibly get to magical mushrooms, of course, without the hallucination. And they're legal. And it was like full body, yes, goosebumps all over my body. The back of my neck was standing up going, wow, I cannot believe that this is in complete alignment with what I do, and how I can offer this out to the masses. And what they've done is they took it one step further, and they infused all 6 of their products, including Rise, with frequencies, with 11 harmonic frequencies. They're charging for 2 days these medallions that go on to the products. And these 11 harmonic frequencies are charged at 432 megahertz. So when it goes into your body, it recalibrates every single organ in your body. And for me, that was a game changer. I mean, I went from this menopausal, woman that was really trying to dance with menopause, really trying and keeping a positive outlook, to this woman that didn't have to try so hard, that I woke up in the morning and I just felt like I was turned on. And so I am very proud to partner with this company, and we have it on our website, and I could not say anything more about it. That is just, it's a game changer. It's actually a life changer. It's changing people's lives. It was created for mental health and for people with ADHD. There's a big story behind it. And I am very proud to have my name on the name Frequency.
Mm-hmm. And they have multiple products. I believe Rise is the more popular, and it's a nootropic, but it's something you ingest. It's like a drink. Is that correct?
It's true. I'm drinking it right now, actually.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like mango lemonade.
No way.
Yes, it tastes like mango lemonade. You cannot taste the mushrooms at all. And you will feel it go through your body, even if you're not in tuned. Okay. You're just, and what I mean by that is you're just working, you're in that hamster wheel. You will feel it within 15 minutes.
Huh. Mango lemonade. Okay. So we'll put these links in the show notes, of course, but one of the things that you offer is kind of a 5-day trial just to check it out. Is that right?
That's true. 5daytrials.com. And you can try a 5-day trial. But one thing that I think is really important, they have a product, which is my favorite product, and it's called Source. And it's got 72 minerals in it. And a lot of people are intaking food. Even myself, I'm growing the food, I'm intaking, I eat clean, but we're not taking in enough minerals. And when you put minerals in your body, not just any old minerals that are actually charged with 11 harmonic frequency, it's able to pull in the nutrients of all the other products that you're taking in your body. It becomes more potent. The herbs that you're putting in your body, your food.
Okay. All right. So, and that is called, I was just here on their website, Source Trace Miracles. Trace Miracles. Look at me. Talk
That's
about a
okay.
Freudian slip.
That's what I love
Source
about
Trace
this.
Miracles
It's
minerals.
dance.
Okay. So we'll put all of the links to that. And there is a business opportunity connected to that. Is that correct?
I do put men and women into business in that are called to work with frequency, that want to work with mushrooms, like-minded people. We're very picky of who we're bringing in, but people that want to utilize this on a daily basis and want to add this to their toolbox. They might have already a niche, and they want to add this in so they too can spread the word and start changing people's lives on a daily basis.
Hmm. Okay.
So
I saw when you pulled up your cup, you had this weird straw that is connected to it. What is this thing? What is this all about?
okay, so let me take a sip from it.
That makes no sense. You're sipping right in the middle. It feels like you're getting ready to play like a flute or something.
Well, this is a very, very, very powerful straw.
Tell me about it.
This straw is a anti-aging frequency charged straw. So this is charged with 11 harmonic frequencies. And everything that you drink out of this straw gets charged. So
Hmm.
I'm not only drinking my magic drink, but I'm also drinking my water out of this straw. I have an extra straw that I sleep with underneath my pillow because it is known to block EMF too as well from going into my body. And who wouldn't want to drink out of an anti-aging frequency charged straw? So yes, you're going to see me talking about this because I feel like this is a huge tool to have. And I'm so grateful that I actually am able to work with it.
Amazing. What is the drinking process? I'm such a practical person. I'm like,
No, that's okay.
are you able
So,
to actually get
so
drink out of the straw?
normal person would drink out of here and that creates the wrinkles around your lips. But when you're sipping it in the middle, like a flute, it doesn't create the this. So going from this to this.
Right. Look at that. Fancy. All right. Well, I'll have to check that out. Okay, so and the straw, is that sold through Frequence or is that another source that you have that straw through?
The straw is through Frequence, and the only way to get it is in a bundle. Sometimes we do give away the straw for free. It's a $50 value. It can go in the dishwasher. I mean, I normally don't do that, but you can. It will never lose its charge. It's like
Okay.
frequency charge jewelry. And for somebody that doesn't really understand frequency, I think it's important to explain that sound bowls have frequency, right? The foods that we intake each have frequency. The earth has frequency. We are frequency. So when you're adding that in your body, you're just tuning your body up. You're really charging it, and it's just an amazing tool to have. One other thing I wanted to say is that the powerful thing about these mushrooms and mushrooms in general is that they have an intelligence of their own, and they go into your body and start mitigating what your body needs.
Hmm. Hmm. All right. So I really want to point people to 5daytrials.com. And so that'll be in the show notes, of course, and on our website with this interview so that you can take advantage of that opportunity with Kerry. That sounds like a really good option for you. Um, Kerry, talk to me about your vision. You've been talking about Corporate Hippie Connection. You've talked about KerryTalk, Apothecary. You said earlier, I want to create a lifestyle brand that's even bigger than Goop. Like, what if we could crawl into your heart and see that vision of how you want to make a positive difference in the world? Can you give us a little bit of a taste of that, just a little bit
Sure,
more?
sure. So a lot of people drive with trying to sell you something, right? They try to sell you products. We are driven by people. So we're a humanity-based company. We put people first and money second because we always know the money will come. And so Corporate Hippie Connection is producing shows to help educate people and take them to their higher potential by offering different articles. We will next year start rolling out courses that we're going to be offering people online. We are going to going out for funding for our big original series, which is a reality TV show called Potent Transformations, where we will pluck somebody from the community and really dive deep into them, and really start cracking open and really maneuvering the energies that live inside them that no longer serve them. A lot of other shows out there like Queer Eye and Goop, it would be the closest to it, but they really don't go from the beginning stages of introducing the person to their light and their gift set to total turnkey of giving them the proper tools and taking them through the process of really healing themselves, them really having them work on themselves and taking them to completely to the end, where you can't just crack somebody open and not show them how this all works, right? A lot of people walk around with traumas and they don't know what to do or don't know how. Some people don't even know what shadow work is. And so this is giving them a chance to be able to really focus on the inside and work themselves, exfoliating their souls to the point where they feel like they can function in this world without judgment, and really meeting people where they're at is the biggest key here. So continuing the shows and offering up retreats, manifesting retreats, healing retreats, branding retreats, you name it, we're going to be doing it on a larger scale.
One of the recent quotes that you posted on Instagram said this: "Never forget that what you believe is what you become. Never forget that what you believe is what you become." Why is that true for you? Like, why post that? What is it about that that just resonates with you?
Okay, because what you think about comes about. And when you are thinking negative thoughts, that is what is going to come back. So for me, I always work with people of finding the better feeling thought and don't focus on the negative. Be grateful for your surroundings, be grateful for what you have. And it's really hard for people to get that concept of getting out of that negative, lower vibration into the higher vibration. And when you're thinking positive things, you are able to take that vibration to a higher frequency. And now you have a complete match to take you to your higher potential. And that is what we teach. And so for me, I feel like even words that we speak are like spells. It's vibrating, right? We're talking and it's vibrating. And so that is a vibration. So what you think about is a vibration too, as well. So when you're thinking a positive thought, the more positive will come and attach itself to that.
Beautiful. If somebody wants to work with you, I know you've got all these different projects that you're kind of doing on a big scale, but if somebody wanted to work with you individually, whether it's business coaching, life coaching, or whatever, what kind of opportunity is there to do that?
Well, if you feel called to anything that we've spoke about today, and you're getting a full body yes, that there are sparks of joy inside of you of certain things and topics that we spoke about, please follow Corporate Hippie Connection. You can find me anywhere at Kerry Romano Zall. Reach out, to info@Corporate Hippie Connection, and let's set up a one-on-one. Let's talk about what your wants are, what your needs are, and I can place you in the right direction of whatever projects that we're working on. I might have a retreat coming up. I might have a course coming up. You might want to go into business for yourself and earn extra money. You might just want that one-on-one. Whatever it may be, feel free to reach out to me, and we'll work through it of whatever you're attracting into your existence.
Kerry, thank you for sharing all of your heart, your wisdom, your story. I just think what you're doing is amazing. Like you're magnetic, like Mandy and I always talk about people who
Thank you.
kind of have like that secret sauce, that special thing. I don't know how much of it is nature versus nurture, but like, boom, you have it. Like there's a special something about you that's super magnetic. And so I'm honored to connect with you. I'm thankful for all the ways that you're making a difference in the world. Everything that's flowing, through you, it just feels like this heart of service, whether it's Rise or obviously Corporate Hippie Connection and KerryTalk and Apothecary and your coaching and everything, even caring for the chickens on the farm, right? It's all through a heart of service. So I recognize that, I see that, and I thank you for it.
Thank you so much. Gratitude is the magic sauce. It really is. A lot of people don't realize it. And I just want you to know that I'm so grateful that you took the time to be here with me too as well. It was a beautiful thing to be able to dance in your light, David.